Brown chicken, brown cow. Down,
And
down.
Okay.
Come on, Joe. Come on, man.
I'm looking in the chat room, and believe it or not, there are some people out there that actually like it.
Dude, I thought let's play on this retro 80s porno kind of genre theme kind of thing we've got going on, man.
It's got the 70s vibe on it, man. To see you
Look
in
at
a perm.
that, dude. We've all got our bell bottoms on, we've got our platform boots on. You're doing your Saturday Night Live on the dance floor, dude. I see it, man.
Oh, it's brutal.
Come on, Joe. You're loving it, man. Scott, come on. Did I promise you a quality intro or what, dude?
I gotta say, I mean, if you're gonna go in that, if you're gonna go and go all out, you might as well go all out, right? And
that, no doubt.
Kev went all out.
Come on, chat room. Come on, chat room. What do you think? Do you think that was cool? I thought that was pretty groovy, man. I thought it was pretty in there. You know? Getting my groove on. No, Joe, no. I've got more music to delight us with as the show goes on, man. Mm-hmm. Who knew? Who knew that YouTube had such a back catalogue of like porno B tracks, Scotty? It's awesome, man.
God, what are you doing?
Listen, I'm feeling a bit silly today. I'm a bit kind of pissed. I wish I was in the desert partying with all my fellow lunatics over there at Area 51, you know. So I thought, we'll just bring the party to the stream. So yeah, I'm getting in the groove, And for anyone out there, big warm welcome to the weekend woo, where things are never quite the same once you leave after you've been here. You never quite see the same stories in the same light again. And man, oh man, have we got a plethora of madness to get into tonight. And we will be dipping our toe into the Nevada desert to see what these geniuses at Area 51 have been getting up to. Scotty Lopez, he's laughing already. Have you been impressed with the kind of level of genius that's been turning up so far, Scott?
It's been interesting to say the least.
Would you call it genius?
It's the most sarcastic form of genius ever levied at anyone.
I was going to say, because it's it seems like more like a giant rave than it does anything else.
You're right there.
There's storm. I don't think anybody's going to storm that place.
Are you suggesting that drugs may be involved in some of these cases, Joe? Is that just
people we saw last night? I almost guarantee it.
Yes.
Although one of the people that we're going to be looking at today, I don't think enhanced themselves with drugs. I don't think they took performance-enhancing chemicals.
You don't think so?
So that they could perfect their run. Yes, we've got one doing the run, haven't we, boys? We've got one doing it right. He's sticking to the kind of rules of raiding Area 51, isn't he, Scott?
He is the Naruto runner, isn't he? And yes, he's out there. He's been out there for what, a month?
Yeah,
is that what you said?
Yeah, and really to set this up, I mean, this whole Area 51 thing, the raid Area 51, it was like a meme started over on Facebook, gained a lot of traction. And from what I can make out, it's actually been a couple of thousand people have turned up in the desert. There's various kind of festivals going on. People are having fun. We're going to have fun with it. Not at their expense, kind of-ish, sort of. But, you know, the main stipulation when it first came out, as fake a meme as it was you had to do this thing called the Naruto run, Scotty, right? So it
is the most ridiculous thing for anybody non-anime to do, by the way.
I think
it only works for Naruto.
Well, you see,
it doesn't work for anybody else. You look like an ostrich.
Come on, Joe. You got to admit the guy that we've got
trying to run away from a predator.
Come on, Joe. Now the guy we've got coming up, a lot of money was spent buying the equipment to slow him down, or else we would never have seen him. Come on, dude. You give us some credit here, right? Some people missed it. The guy was going too fast. He was going faster than the speed of light. So what am I talking about? Well, let's take a look at the one guy that I've found that has done this properly. He stuck to the rules of raiding Area 51. And we're going to listen to a channel called The Quartering. Oh, my word. One of my favourite channels out there. You think I'm a toxic male? This guy is the granddaddy of neckbeards and toxicity. And I love him. And like I say, he's been on the case of Area 51.
What's going on, everyone? Jeremy here from The Quartering, and you all loved the wholesome tale yesterday of the Area 51 Naruto runner. I have scrambled my ground team at Area 51 to find that man. Now, you may have...
You see, boys, this is where I want us to get to, where we can scramble people to locations like Area 51. So we've got these roving reporters, Scotty, like info whores and all the rest of it, man. We can have people on the ground, you know? That's it. We need this, Joe.
Missed him in the original clip because, as stated previously, he was Naruto running, which, as everyone knows, is about the fastest you can do anything ever. But here's the clip.
Why do you think that is?
Look at that. Look at him go. Look, he's going that fast. You can barely see him. Look, he's shifting there, man.
Hold on one second. Hold on. So, just by putting your arms behind your back, it must give you some sort of aerodynamic capability to where you just, or perhaps like last night on Freaky Friday, we discussed about a person in their garage designing a warp drive, and that, you know, basically what they're trying to do is create a bubble around an object where the gravity is a little more in the front than it is in the rear, so it propels it forward and it defies the speed of light.
Neat, Roadrunner.
Right, so does Naruto running actually do the same thing, but just for human beings?
I think it just makes you more streamlined, doesn't it? I don't think...
Yeah, like an ostrich.
Yeah, like, in fact, I'm getting a bit kind of miffed here because I grew up loving the Roadrunner. Nick. Right, and the Roadrunner, by my account, was the first one to do anything that even comes close to Naruto running. This is Roadrunner running. This is what we're looking at, but let's take a look at him now. You got to watch really closely. Watch.
Now, our
There he is, look.
very own Joe Bartels is the top trending GIF after someone photobombs his...
Look at him there, Joe. You see him? Look at that.
That is fast.
Look at that. You can barely catch him. Look.
tour.
Damn, dude.
Now, you probably had to slow it down
We did, Jeremy. We did.
review that clip several times in order to actually see what is happening behind this man, but it is in fact a Naruto run. Now, after some hard-hitting groundwork, thank you to the ground team, of course, out there, we have located the man behind the Naruto run, and I figure let's do a little bit of an interview. Let's start with, how about your name?
Elia, E-L-I-A, Elixir, E-L-I-X-I-R.
Thank you, Elia. And might I say, that lisp is adorable.
Isn't it just? Mr. Elixir. He's got the name for it, isn't he?
Now, the crack research team here at the Quartering headquarterings has located this man's secret YouTube page full of behind-the-scene footage and amazing preparation clips.
But this is the determination that it takes, boys.
Clip for Naruto running.
This is what it takes, Joe, isn't it? This is the determination it takes, you know?
In fact, I'm going to give Elia a subscribe right now, as maybe you should too if you enjoy it. But I'm going to share with you some preparation, some behind-the-scenes Naruto run prep, and I hope you enjoy it.
Hello everyone, I am the Naruto runner.
Wow, that was from New York City to San Francisco Bay in the blink of an eye.
Like I said, Joe, geniuses in the desert.
Totally.
That is, of course, the power of the Naruto
No wonder they're
run.
going to evade radar and all of the security measures of Area 51 because, you know, when you Naruto run and you're going that fast in a matter of seconds, going from New York City to San Francisco, I mean, I would think that that's almost like quasi teleporting.
Yeah.
And you would defeat all of the smart dust, all of the top tech sensors that they have deployed around Area 51.
Even the time traveling Greys are going to struggle to keep up with you, dude.
I'm sure these interdimensional guys are going to be like, what? It almost along the lines of, like, you know how the beginnings of the nuclear testing, they say that's what got a lot of the extraterrestrial attention, and that before that, us humans, we were savages, and then all of a sudden, oh shite, we're high-tech savages. And that's when they started coming in, and you had Roswell, and they just haven't left since. So I wonder if this will be another step forward. Oh no, those humans, they figured out the Naruto run.
Good call, dude. Good call. You see,
There's scalar, Kev.
you see exactly. Now, maybe we've like ticked that box. Maybe we have graduated. Now that we've got the Naruto run, maybe now we'll be
Just wait for the
welcomed.
Vulcans to make first
Yeah,
contact.
we'll
now.
be welcomed into the intergalactic community, dude.
That's right. Spock's grandpa's going to come down any minute now and say, hey, humans, you guys are ready to become part of the intergalactic community.
Exactly. Embrace it, baby. Embrace it.
Now let's get back to the interview. Now, sir, it would appear to me that you really want to see them aliens. Perhaps clap some of them alien cheeks. How long have you been there?
Well, I've been here a month ago. I came here, and I was practicing my Naruto running in front of Area 51.
Wow, that's dedication. 30 full days ahead of schedule in preparation to see them aliens. Now, if only more people would have your level of dedication, could you show us a little bit of what your physical prep looked like?
That there's how you do it.
I knew there was a look at that.
Look at
that.
it, man.
Now, if you couldn't tell, we actually had to slow down that footage by 1,000% just so you could see how fast he was in fact moving.
But listen, there's lots more of Jeremy covering this. I'll drop it in the chat room. But there's lots more to look at as well. Because today, guys, I thought, and we'll refresh it now.
When are they supposed to storm this damn thing?
Right now. I think it's tonight.
Going tonight, huh?
Well, was it not? I think it is tonight. Yeah, I think so. So,
I think so.
what I done was...
Is it going to be another Waco? That's the question.
Nah, I don't think so.
Oh, because they couldn't. How could they shoot at something they can't see?
But what we done was, or what I done was, I got all the kind of live streams up. Now, obviously, there's a few of them that are just clickbaiting. They're not really even at the location. But we'll have a look at some, see if we can find anyone that's there. Let's have a look. Up the top here, so that's gaming. 3 watching this one. Let's take a look. It's a bit loud, is it not?
It's got a lot of thumbs down. Probably not good.
Yeah, crap. Over to Brian.
Let's start the night of right, y'all. Put on your smoking jacket, sit back, and pack of fatty. Great to see y'all here tonight, yesh. Brown chicken, brown cow. Smoke mifia gotum.
Whoa.
Sorry, just when I heard that brown chicken, brown cow, I had to, dude. I had to. Right, so let's see what we've got here. So we've got 124 watching this one. Oh, come on. It's just somebody with the actual, number count. Surely there's got to be somebody there. Come on, please tell me there's somebody there. 17 watching. No. Unknown gamer, let's see.
Hell.
No, it's not even live. Live now. A couple of Russians, no. Let's see.
I wonder how many people are
Oh,
actually there.
there's the guys we seen last night, remember?
We legally have to
Yeah.
inform the guards, but I'm just gonna stay here because I think they already know. But you know, your boy ain't no snitch today.
Now listen. While we're watching this, what's really striking me here is, I'm afraid this young man here, him and his friend with the animal heart, I think they might be the two statistics. I think we might be watching the final hours of a couple of internet geniuses here. I don't mean to laugh. I shouldn't laugh. It's so inappropriate laughing, but if anyone's going to bite the bullet, I have a horrible gut feeling it's going to be these two loon balls.
You really mean it by saying don't do it. Like
Probably.
Now we've got somebody with like a Buzz Lightyear hat on. Come on. What's going on here?
It was like, oh, I'm gonna step in, and it was like, I'll release the duck.
Jesus Christ.
Oh, they're going to shit themselves when they see Buzz Lightyear coming over the Nevada
They're
desert,
not
aren't
taking
they?
it personally.
Yeah, I know.
He's wearing a knockoff spacesuit and a helmet.
Oh, actually, what the fuck are they actually?
Oh, they put up chicken wire.
Yep.
Razor wire. Nice.
Yeah, they've actually, like, wired off the kill zone.
Yeah, it's not warm. Someone did it.
Yep.
What, really? Yeah, we have an actual raider here.
What do you mean?
Somebody
No.
went inside.
He went in?
Yeah, I mean, he's back out, but he went inside for like 5 seconds.
You better believe he got back out. He was in for 5 seconds.
I know.
We have an actual raider here. Yeah,
We have a
no one
boy.
actually is going in.
We have a boy living on borrowed time.
They're smart.
He stole 5 seconds, man.
I was like, and then the other guy was like, I'm gonna do that now. And I was like, bro, they probably have cameras on this.
Dude, they clearly see it.
We can see them line of
They
sight.
can, if we, guys, if we,
Holy
we got a
hell.
runner.
To be fair, that
We
came
got a
pretty
runner.
fast.
Yeah, they're,
Right, this must be last night, right? Because I'm thinking Nevada, it's not dark over there at this time of day, right?
Yeah, so this was last night.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it was last night this happened.
Yeah,
So
we'll try and find another one, see if there's any that's actually live. Oh, 11 watching. Oh,
Okay.
oh, get that off. Ruptly.
Oh, that looks a little better.
Yeah, Ruptly,
Oh.
no good though. No good, Ruptly. Savage. Savage Joe.
A lot of people are just here just to party, just to have a good time.
What is the alien doing in the corner? How rude. Close your eyes.
And you know, if maybe in 5 to 6 years it becomes like there's millions of people here, you know, Area 51 might have.
Oh, come on. You can't just like try and guilt people on your stream with that statement. If I don't get one more sub and like I'm ending this stream. Said like a true soy boy in the desert.
What's up to Joe Arch? How's it going, Archie? What was it? Who's Krita? Why? It's real. Oh,
Yeah.
you're asking like, who's asking?
I think the actual raid was yesterday because it was supposed to be on the 20th.
So now they're just like eating cactus and licking toads' bums and getting mad with it
they're
like
just the people that are still.
it's like a
trying to
Burning Man for
hang
poor
out
people.
there.
Is that what we're saying? It's like Burning Man for poor people. Is this what we're going
That's
with?
what it looks like, yeah. Yeah.
See, I'd fit in well there. I'd definitely fit in well. I would. So yeah, not impressed with the day's proceedings then, Joe? Not happy with the raiding of Area 51?
I'm as impressed with this as I am with your intro music.
Oh, come on, the intro music's really good. You know it. Come on,
Really
dude.
bad.
Come on, man.
Really bad.
I'm trying to see if there's any good memes that are actually
You know who I
unfolding
bet
here.
made it in and made it out? The
Alex
Naruto
Jones.
runner.
You think so? Oh, imagine this guy not making it in dressed like that, where all the cops are. Imagine my surprise. Imagine it.
That must have been from last
All
night.
those people getting ready to raid.
Look,
Is
so,
somebody flying a North Korean flag out
Up
there?
to the end, yeah, North Korean flag. That's good.
somebody had actually, Jonathan, the guy that does like the scary masks and things, he had sent me these pictures yesterday, but I'm calling shenanigans on this one.
That's not it. That's so not. No way.
that looks not being
God.
funny, but that looks like somewhere over in Africa or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, big time.
No way. No way, dude.
Imagine
no way.
people using this as like a clickbait event. Come on, imagine it. Imagine people on the internet doing that.
Oh, come on. Oh.
There he is again.
Then
Look,
they're-
look.
Oh, there he
There he goes. I need to retweet that.
There he is.
He is the
He
one
is
star.
Mesmerizing.
Yeah, I expect his YouTube channel to go big places in the coming weeks. Big time. So what else we got then, guys? Since there's nothing really to laugh at Area 51. Bit of a damp squib, really.
That really sucked. I was hoping that there'd be a little more excitement.
Yeah, it would have been fun, you know? I think. How about we go for some of the bizarre stories I've got here?
Okay.
You ready for a Metro bizarre story? Something completely different?
Very bizarre.
Very bizarre. Like scraping the bottom of the barrel bizarre. A man caught performing a sex act on a cleaning cone at Wigan Station. Now, there's a headline you don't see every day. Yes. And I bet you there's a name for this. I bet you there's actually like a classification for people that are aroused by cleaning cones. What do we think? Do you reckon, Scott? I bet you.
Is that?
It's a thing, Joe. It's a thing. A man has admitted it. You see, it's not even allegations. He's admitted having sex with a cleaning cone at Wigan train station while drunk. Trevor Smith, 38, was found in a lift with his trousers and undies around his ankles while thrusting his hips at the cone. And that's a very British way of saying that he was like raping the cone. When he was stopped. But, well, you don't know if the cone consented, Joe. I know you see, it says when he was stopped, police noted a white substance on the floor that was not cocaine. Wah, wah, wah. Brown chicken, brown cow, yellow cleaning cone.
I'm just thinking, like,
why?
Logistically speaking, that's probably not good.
Well, I would say, logistically speaking, round hole, round peg, right?
Chafage at a minimum?
Some people like a bit of friction, Joe.
What are you trying to do there?
I think it's quite self-explanatory what he was trying to do. I don't think you need some kind of sexual kind of genius to work out what this individual was up to. But it says Mr. Smith. We'll call him Mr. Smith for his own sake, so he can't be identified from this point forward. From nearby St. Helens, admitted to police that he was worse for wear and had snorted white powder that was given to him by friends to help perk him up. He was spotted by here we go. Wasn't my fault, Gov. It was that white substance that I didn't know I was shoveling up my nose. See, he was spotted by a worker from Virgin Trains at 9:30 p.m. on April the 14th, who had been asked by a colleague to meet him at the station lift. Now, when he got to the lift, he glanced through the window and saw Smith sitting down, getting jiggy with a cleaning cone that was in his lap. Oh, yeah. Jinky was sitting there caressing it.
Ryan in the chat room asked, does that make him a metrosexual?
Oh. Oh, bravo, sir. Bravo.
Yeah. And on a Virgin train to boot.
You know, Joe, I was trying to think of something witty when I read that there, but exactly.
At least the train's still a virgin.
He called police.
But the train is.
He called the police and
what is that, an experienced cone now? It's not a virgin cone. Can't put that on there. There's no virgin name on there. Traumatized cone.
Don't make light of it, Joe. Don't make light of it, okay? Don't make light of it. Cones have got their Me Too movement, okay?
I can't wait to see that cone do an interview on The View.
Exactly.
For being sexually harassed.
They'll have Alan Dershowitz bring it on, you know, because he's so cool with women and that. It says here, he called police, and by the time they arrived, Smith had mounted the cone, and he was on top of it, thrusting at it.
Just, you know, the brain is sexually harassed by, for the cone, she's offended.
I think we need some kind of jiggy music in the background there. Now, realising he was being watched, he went faster. No, he did the decent thing and pulled up his trousers while being helped to his feet by the police officer. Wait a minute. Realising he was being watched, he done the decent thing. No, he was ripped off it by the police, let's face it. He was ripped off it bodily. They had to remove it. It was like a barnacle on the side of a ship, Joe. It was actually stuck to him. Do you know what I mean? Absolute shenanigans. The cop said he saw the white powder around Smith's lower face and on the floor of the lift. So you see, we went too early with the white stuff on the floor, boys. Well, that was our dirty mind there. Sounding more powdery now. He was arrested for possession of a Class A drug, but later de-arrested when it turned out The white substance, oh, okay, I take it back, was not a drug at all. Have we still got Joe with us, or have we lost him? We've lost him again, haven't we? He's just sitting there with that pose on. That's the kind of pose that needs a porn music. Look at Joe. It's like a still shot from his upcoming film. Joe does the arc. Here we go, right? Instead, he faced charges of outraging public decency. Smith later expressed extreme regret and said he understood how the situation could have been interpreted. You think? I wonder what made people interpret the way it did, Scott. I wonder what might have done that. Something to do with the fact you had your junk stuck in a traffic cone or a cleaning cone?
How else could that be interpreted? That's my question. I mean, that's pretty straightforward.
It's pretty much, talk about getting caught with your hand in the cookie jar. You know what I'm saying? Joe does glitching on us. Oh, he's still there, is he? His eyes are moving. Yeah, he's still there.
Yeah, I had to reset the network connection. It was bogged down, so I am back and better than ever. And cone-free.
So it said here, just to finish this story up about yet another internet genius, he said he had been out drinking with his friends when he got into the lift and thought he was on his own in a locked room. Still no defense. Still no defense for why you were sticking your junk in a cone.
I don't even know if he knows why he was doing it.
Well, you see, there's a backstory here. He's got previous convictions for outraging public decency, and he was released on bail until next month. So this guy's not only doing this, but he's got form for it. This is probably
I see. He's a serial cone rapist, probably.
He went from ice cream cones to like cleaning cones. Next is going to be traffic cones. We see where this is ending up, right? Not good. He's progressing. He's going to be like a serial cone.
Brain said the guy saw caution wet and lost his mind.
Oh, dear Lord. Dear Lord. So what else we got then? I've got more in my little grab bag here, but I'm sure you've got plenty there, boys. I'm sure Joe's got plenty.
Nothing to top that. I've got absolutely nothing to top.
Nothing to top that. Well, how about
with a
okay, then
cone.
we'll go from that, from the totally like crass and very kind of uncouth sexual proclivities of some people in the UK.
Get something? Got some other stuff.
Joe, wait, you'll like this. People, get ready. Your skin is going to start crawling. A British family eaten alive by a nest of 20 false widow spiders in their home.
What?
Yeah, dude. Kay Leverett discovered a nest of false widow spiders lurking in the family home. Now, I'd never heard of false widow spiders before, but there's nothing false about spiders that eat you. That they're real widow spiders, right? It says Brits are in the middle of a spider invasion as millions of eight-legged creatures. It's just that the way they word that. They're a spider invasion. They're coming over the cliffs of Dover. They're coming down from the north. Exactly. They're moving as one. Here we go. So, it says, sadly for one family, those words ring all too true as they discovered a nest of over 20 false widow spiders lurking in their home. Now, according to mum of two, Kate Leverett, the critters were discovered after one spider took a cheeky bite out of her bum. Kay from Norwich also claims that the creatures moved into her home last year, this time feasting on her daughter and son, who had chicken pox at the time. Look at that bad boy. Oh.
I wonder why they did black and white. Why it's a black and white picture. I'd like to see the color on that thing.
Well, I think we get to it when we get further down. It says, speaking exclusively to the Daily Star Online, Kay said, quote, I think it happened last week on Friday night, and then we went to A&E on Saturday night. It's still playing up now. I assume I was bitten on Friday night because on Saturday morning, I woke up and I felt a bit of a sharp sting on my bottom. I asked my husband to take a look at the area, and he says it looks a bit red, and gave it a good slap. I mean, like a spot. But there wasn't really anything else to be concerned about. Okay, blame it on the spider, why don't you?
Yeah, right, exactly.
Honestly, husband, honestly, it's just a spider bite, honestly. Even though it's got like 5-finger mark, it's just a spider bite.
What is A&E?
Accident and emergency, the same as your emergency room, or which is now emergency department, I've been told.
Right. Yeah.
So we have had an infestation recently, and my daughter was bitten a week before, so I thought I'd keep an eye on it, but didn't think I'd been bitten. Later that day, we went out for dinner, and when we returned home again, I said to my husband, I feel really sick, and asked him to look. Ouch. Yawa weewa. Dang. So it says, unfortunately for Kay, the small mark the couple had mistaken for a spot had become inflamed, and the pair were sure it was a bite. So she said he had a look again and said it definitely looks like a bite because it had come all out and it was really red and inflamed.
Yeah. We have something here called wolf spiders, and those wolf spiders, the wolf spiders are very much like that. It's a flesh-eating bite that ends up wreaking havoc on your skin. It takes a long time, if ever it heals. It's just this wound that really never heals. And I don't know.
Look at that. There they are.
Yeah. Except for, treat it with antibiotic ointment and just keep it clean and let it. But I mean, when you get bit by these things, that's a nasty bite. That's a nasty bite. Over here is, like I said, the similar thing would be like a wolf spider. Does the same thing. It bites you, and then it's like a flesh-eating type of venom, and the wounds are very slow to. Matter of fact, I've got one on my leg that I still have the scar, and it's still not right. And I probably got bit 5 years ago. It's still not right.
That looks like some kind of alien. Look at that hangman.
Yeah. I don't like them.
No, that's no good.
They say spiders are good. They eat bugs, yada, yada, yada. That's all well and good. But I have a hard time with them and snakes.
Yeah, snakes, definitely. Reptilians in general, especially the royal family. I don't take to them too kindly. Right, so before I hand it over to you then, Joe, for one of your stories that you've pulled up. I know you've got Quantum Woo. We've got other stuff as well. We can go into the chat room. There's lots we can get into. How about a dumb criminal? Yes, we like our dumb criminals. Take a listen to this.
Genre of story for which we have deep affection here at GMA, the stupid criminal story.
That's right, one of our favorites. This one's about a guy in Portland, Oregon, who accidentally called 911 in the middle of a meth deal. So.
Wah, wah, wah.
Yeah, I apologize. It's not wolf spider. It's brown recluse. That's what it was. Brown recluse spider. And yeah, man.
You're forgiven.
You get bit by those bastards.
We'll forgive you. Just this once, Joe. Don't make a habit of it or we'll set the spiders on you.
So what happened next? ABC's Tanya Rivera is here with that story. Hey, Tanya.
Hey, Brianna and Dan, we've all done it. We are all guilty of the pocket dial. And while those mistakes...
No, we're not. Don't just make that blanket statement. I've never butt dialed anyone. What about you, Scott?
Nope.
No, Joe?
Oh, all the time, dude.
You see, that says something about your bottom as opposed to me and Scott.
All the time. I mean, I can't tell you. I matter of fact, I probably use that more often than anything else.
So your ass has got a mind of its own, is that what you're saying?
Could be.
Does it have its own zip code?
Maybe.
See, it's wanting its own mobile phone though, isn't it? Terrible, man.
State calls can often get you into hot water. Sometimes they can get you arrested.
911, where's your emergency?
When the 911 call came in, dispatchers initially dismissed it as just another pocket or purse dial until they heard this.
Okay, well, I got 40 on me, so the only issue is seeing the product before purchase.
The
Oops. Wah, wah, wah.
Call sounded like a drug deal going down.
So yeah, I definitely need a 40. And please let it be good. I am so too fit myself.
Officers traced the phone to an alley, get this, just a block away from the police department, where they say they busted this man, Raleigh Reynolds, along with the woman on the phone on drug charges.
For an open 911 call to lead us to a drug deal, that does not happen very often.
But you think about it, guys, right? So with mobile phones and everything else.
God, now that's crazy, bro.
I mean, even taking it like, let's hypothetically, right? We're in the narc business, we're lining up a big deal. I'm sorry, but anyone taking their mobile phone to like a location where you're going to be doing any shit like that, you deserve to be caught. Who takes microphones and cameras in their pocket? Come on, dude.
Look, man, I got to tell you what that was kind of like, that was probably the equivalent of a God intervention. That's what it was.
Universal karma.
You've hit rock bottom. And well, I mean, most of these phones today, you know, they're passcoded and everything else. So the screen lock, very few butt dials, unless.
So are we saying that
phone prior to putting it in your pocket?
Hang
right?
on, dude. Are we saying the butt dial could be like some like angelic intervention?
I think it was. Man, you've hit rock bottom. You need to cool off, man. So his guardian angel was like, shh, done. Next thing you know, police are there. They arrest him, and he can't be a drug dealer anymore.
Oh, see now, dude. See now, you've got me thinking that there's like the good ones lingering about, watching what you're getting up to. I'm gonna be thinking twice about what I'm getting up to now, Scott. Never alone, eh? Never alone, dude.
That is, but it isn't, you know, just quite the coincidence, you know, that 911 happened to be dialed.
Yeah, and another one got right in his place 5 minutes later. So it's all good because, you know, when one goes down, they arrest you. 5 minutes later, somebody's there taking over your territory.
You know it, dude. You know it. Tell you, grass doesn't grow in this market. Oh, hell no. No, it's savage. So yeah,
savage. Got some AI stuff. You want to talk AI?
Go for it, dude. What? Drop me. Have you dropped me the link?
Computing, because you can't have AI without computing. And according to Fortune, Google is claiming quantum supremacy, marking a major milestone in computing. What is quantum supremacy, I wonder? And
well, Joe, it just so happens I've got that up here.
Do you really?
I do, yes. I was looking at this earlier. I put a post out for my Patreons over there. I'd noticed this story doing the rounds. And in a nutshell, quantum supremacy is the potential ability of quantum computing devices to solve problems that classical computers practically cannot. Quantum advantage is the potential to solve problems faster. So basically, for doing something that even your most powerful supercomputer that the NSA has cannot do.
Wow. It's a claim made in a new scientific paper is the most serious indication yet. The promise of quantum computers, an emerging but unproven type of machine, is becoming reality, including their potential to solve formerly ungraspable mathematical problems. Essentially, Google purported to have pulled off a stunt on a quantum computer that no classical machine, not even the world's most powerful supercomputer, can replicate. Fortune obtained a copy of Google's paper, which was posted to nasa.gov earlier this week before being taken down. A Google spokesperson declined to confirm the authenticity of the paper and its results. A source at Google familiar with the situation suggested, however, that NASA accidentally published the paper early before its team's claims could be thoroughly vetted through scientific peer review, a process that could take anywhere from weeks to months. And if the paper holds up under scrutiny of the scientific community, it'll be heralded as a watershed moment in quantum science. Its central claim counters doubt that some unforeseen law of nature may prevent quantum computers from operating as hoped. Quantum speedup is achievable in a real-world system and is not precluded by any hidden physical laws, the Google researcher writes. Further, they predict that quantum computing will grow at double exponential rate, besting even the exponential rate that defined Moore's law, a trend that observed traditional computing power to double roughly every 2 years.
Think of that. Think of how our phones have advanced, all of our gadgets, our computers, and now they're saying that the quantum applications, the quantum stuff is going to be twice as quick as that.
Twice as fast.
Twice as fast.
Yeah.
And then down at the bottom of this, it actually tells you, Joe, that they're already now very close to the first practical quantum applications being released via the Google Cloud. Yep.
Right. It says here the experiment described in the paper sampled randomly generated numbers produced through a specialized scenario involving quantum phenomena.
Do you think they were going randonauting?
Yeah.
That's what they were doing, man.
Sounds like it. The researchers said they determined that their quantum computer beat regular computers at the task, which involved calculating the output of certain specialized circuits. Now, while our processor takes about 200 seconds to sample one instance of the quantum circuit 1 million times, a state-of-the-art supercomputer would require approximately 10,000 years to perform the equivalent task.
Yeah, that's what we're talking about. That's a step up.
That's a step up if I'd ever, yeah. Google's quantum computer, dubbed Sycamore, contains 53 qubits, or quantum bits, a measure of the machine's potential power. The team scaled back from a 72-qubit device dubbed Bristlecone it had previously designed. The researchers estimate that performing the same experiment on a Google Cloud server would take 50 trillion hours. Too long to be feasible.
Scotty, that's as bad as visiting all the planets in No Man's Sky, right? We could run the two together.
Yeah,
but on the quantum
it's not
processor, 30 seconds.
Wow.
30 seconds on the quantum processor, 50 trillion hours on the Google Cloud server.
Just saying.
Quantum processors based on superconducting qubits can now perform computations beyond the reach of the fastest classical supercomputers available today, the researchers write. To our knowledge, this experiment marks the first computation that can be only performed on a quantum processor.
Pretty cool,
What's that?
Pretty cool.
Yeah, man. Businesses are hoping the advancement of quantum computers by tech giants such as Google, IBM, and Intel, as well as startups such as Rigetti Computing, will lead to unprecedented scientific and technological breakthroughs in the coming years. They're eyeing applications from new chemical reactions for development of drugs, fertilizers, and batteries, to the improvement of optimization algorithms and mathematical modeling. As exciting as Google's results are, other researchers caution over overhyping it, fearing that inflated expectations of imminent advances will lead to a popped bubble. Dario Gil, head of IBM Research, advises against using quantum supremacy as a metric with which to measure progress in the field.
Hang on, Joe. This is, it's nothing to do with the fact that IBM's model has now been trounced by Google's latest working version. There's no sour qubits involved in this, boys.
No, sir. No, sir.
Well, I will say, though, it is kind of equivalent to look at the .com bubble that happened in the 90s, right? The internet was an emerging technology, and it was kind of overhyped at the time. People were talking about, doing things and making claims of doing things on the internet that we really didn't have the bandwidth for at the time. So it was really kind of overhyped, and people didn't. The potential was there, but people were expecting things out of it a little too early, and I think that's kind of what he's getting at with this, with this kind of quantum supremacy thing, that people are going to expect these radical major breakthroughs right off the bat, and he's like, no, it's going to take time to do that, so people's expectations need to be, you need to kind of temper them down, because we're not going to see these miracle things being done immediately from it.
That's what Jim Clark of Intel Labs said. He said a notable mile marker is Google's update, but a commercially viable quantum computer will require many R&D advances before actually becoming a reality.
See, that's what.
So you're right there. I mean, is it a achievement? Absolutely. Is it important? Absolutely. But they're right. It's like, okay, it's a mile marker. Okay, you've hit this point. It's not the end all be all. It certainly is not going to put a quantum computer to market faster. It's just a mile marker on capabilities, really.
The thing I was highlighting today as well, and it's in here, I think, the 53 qubits. Because I know some people will say, but that's like only 1% of what D-Wave's got. And that's cool, but it's like comparing apples and spanners. It's two totally different things, because you've got D-Wave going for the tunneling, like we spoke about with Geordie. And I think it's a quantum gate setup they've got here. So it's a totally different way of achieving the same quantum mechanical effects, if that makes sense. So you can't really compare the qubits between them. That's no kind of like a measure of power or processing power, anything like that. But this here, what did I say the other night on the show, guys? Was it with you, Joe? Or was it just last night on Freaky Friday when we said, what one do we think's probably got the most powerful AI?
That's right. Yeah, it was.
We said Google.
Right.
That's the one. So who knows what they've got?
Well, not to mention the fact that you don't know what because again, there's different styles. Like IBM is developing a different type of quantum computer than Google has, and I'm sure Intel has their
And you
own
don't hear
variant.
much about that Rigetti. See, try to find out stuff about them. It's really hard, really hard.
Yeah, no, I haven't heard anything about them either. Same thing with D-Wave, D-Wave and these smaller guys that are out there, I have to imagine that, like with D-Wave, it's pretty interesting. But I think just like all these little guys, they lack the resources of your Intels, your IBMs, your Googles, and that Google I mean, you're talking about a company with limitless resources.
Yeah, they can throw anything they want at this problem.
That damn thing.
And yeah.
So yeah, I'm thinking that it's a mile marker. I agree with Intel on this one. It's a mile marker. It's a great achievement, no doubt.
And there's nothing suspicious about NASA pulling it. It's exactly like they said. It needs to be peer reviewed.
Vetted.
You can't go too early with this,
Right. Needs to be vetted. So I think it was absolutely the right thing to do for them. But, I don't blame them for wanting to tout it either.
I'm telling you, one of these times that they put together a specific layout, like a topology, a new layout of like the qubits, the minute they fire it up, that's when the first time traveler is going to spring into the room, man. They're just waiting for that moment. They're just waiting for that one instance when we fire up the machine. It'll be like Grand Central.
Is he going to be wearing his Apex TV?
I was going to say, Scott, they're building one at Apex TV. I better shut my mouth. I've been wrong all along. They do have a working time machine. Go figure.
Exactly.
So what else we got on the smorgasbord, Joe? You like it? Smorgasbord? Come on, man.
The Telegraph says Microsoft chief Brad Smith says the rise of killer robots is unstoppable. He says it's now unstoppable, and a new digital Geneva Convention is essential to protect the world from the growing threat they pose, according to the president of the world's biggest tech company.
Oh, yeah, because that Geneva Convention worked so well for all those people that have become collateral damage in the past 20 years, right?
Right. Yeah, that's great. Yeah, so he said that lethal autonomous weapon systems pose a host of new ethical questions which need to be considered by governments as a matter of urgency. No, they are being considered urgently, and they're trying to advance them as fast as humanly possible because that's what all these governments are doing. They all want AI. They all want autonomous. They all want drone, all of that, and as fast as ever before. And I don't think they really give a crap. If you're going to go kill other human beings, morality and ethics have gone out the door before you even got there. So all of that, see you later. Hello, killing machines. And that's exactly what we have. And he said a rapidly advancing technology in which flying, swimming, or walking drones can be equipped with weapon systems like missiles, bombs, or guns, which could be programmed to operate entirely or partially autonomously, ultimately will spread to many countries. Let me stop there. It has and is in many countries. Of course, the U.S., China, Israel, South Korea, Russia, and the U.K. are all developing weapon systems with a significant degree of autonomy.
Sorry, Joe.
Yes, in the critical functions of selecting and attacking targets. And I can tell you this, Space and Naval Warfare Center, I used to work for them, right? One of the things that they were working on, it was pretty interesting, was swarm technology. So these autonomous swarming drones that...
Check this, dude. Check that.
That would work autonomously. And then, yeah, stupid robot. I'll show you, stupid robot.
Yeah.
Now get back to work, robot. That's right. Look at that. That is just amazing. Look at that.
I know. Scott says that's the CGI. That one is because they kind of done a piss take because people were saying about treating them bad and things. But even still, if we go and look at their other stuff, I mean, it's getting kind of
yeah, there we go.
That's
funny. It says they're all developing weapon systems with a significant degree of autonomy in the critical functions of selecting and attacking targets. The technology, of course, is a growing focus of many militaries because replacing troops with machines can make the decisions to go to war much easier. Oh boy, let's just go to war now.
Can you imagine one of these bad boys chasing you down the street? Look at this thing, man. We'll take that on.
Well, yeah, see, that's the problem is like,
you better believe that's a
couldn't.
problem when that's coming down the street after you.
Now, yeah, throw some freaking chain guns on there.
I
or
need
something
Anne's
like
shoe. I need a bag of Anne's shoes so I can chuck them at it. Know what I mean? Crazy, dude.
Yeah, or something. So, the interesting thing about this is, again, all of these countries and many of the third world countries are trying to get in on this action. But one thing that I think is understated is the PTSD that these drone pilots suffer because of the things that they have to do and or the dehumanization that goes on because now these targets are just on a screen, right? So it's really doing damage to humans that are having to pull the trigger. And they're having a harder and harder time filling these positions. So it's advantageous to them to, be able to field an autonomous weapon system because now you've got that human factor out of the way.
Oh, the time that it takes to go down the kill chain then, Joe. There's no silly emotions. There's nothing gets in the way. It's cold. It's calculated. It's either a kill or it's not. Simple as. Target acquired, gone.
Yeah, but the thing is like, so we have ours, they'll have theirs. It just becomes a tech war, That's why now the battlefield is the internet, basically. So we have the internet right now. Like take Iran, for example. What they did physically was a drop in the bucket in terms of the world oil capacity. But what did it do? It sparked off a huge cyber war. And it's already been going on, but it took it to the next level. So now the U.S. says, we're going to freeze all your assets. Now the central bank can't do anything over in Iran. I mean, they have gone and I think they have more sanctions on them than North Korea has on them. I think that, they might have surpassed North Korea. I may be speaking prematurely on it, but it's the first time they've ever taken a action against another central bank themselves and sanctioned the central bank of a nation. So that is kind of interesting that they did that. But how do you do that? Well, everything's online now. So you can go and freeze all the U.S. stuff and even go further and start playing shenanigans on all their transactions internationally because it's all done online. So a lot of the warfare that goes on, a shot's not even fired, but all this stuff happens. So now let's throw this kind of technology in the mix. You set these things autonomously and you set them with rules of engagement and you set them with the boundaries. Something crosses that boundary. This thing doesn't hesitate.
No.
It's going to do exactly what it's told to do.
In fact, will it even need telling, Joe? It won't need telling from a human at that point. It'll be fully autonomous. There will be no human in that loop.
Right.
Do you know what I mean?
And you think about this too. That may be on a national. We often talk about, the Bible prophecy about not being able to buy or sell unless you take the mark in the end days, right? But isn't it interesting that here you have a superpower, the world's policemen, if you will, go and basically cut off a nation's ability to conduct commerce, an entire nation. That's pretty heavy.
It's what happens when you don't play ball with the NWO.
That's right.
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
Soylent Green.
They were never in a good position being on Wesley Clark's shortlist, dude. And I know it wasn't Wesley Clark that put the shortlist together, folks. I know that, but you know what I mean.
They know it, so that's just interesting as you see this stuff being deployed more and more. I know they're making the first.
And think about it as well, Joe. I mean, that whole thing that went on in Saudi Arabia recently, it really highlighted something, and that's the rise of drones, not just with nation states, though. I mean, they're talking about the Houthi rebels, and I get it. They get their stuff from Iran, stuff like that. But you're talking about drones now, even commercial drones that can drop grenades and stuff like that can be weaponized. Even your terror groups, even people that haven't got like a nation behind them. This is the new form of attack. It's the new warfare. It is going kind of Terminator style. Scotty, I see you nodding away there. I mean, the whole question was, where did this drone come from in the Middle East? And the fact that it could have came from like all these little groups or Iran or anywhere else, it shows just how many of them are out there.
This technology has been proliferated for quite a while now. You know, drone technology.
Big time.
It's really not that complicated to make a drone anymore.
Wasn't back in the day either. I mean, you could make a drone.
I mean, and here's the thing of what constitutes the definition of a drone. Basically, it's any flying vehicle that is not piloted by a human. I mean, if you want to boil it down to its basics. And so, I mean, you can even take like RC planes, right? You know, and convert them. They're basically drones. If you're piloting it, you know,
it's a drone.
It's a drone. Yeah, you know, so.
Something like that there. You can hold it in your finger. You know what I mean? That's a drone.
Right. It's a drone.
Yep.
But I just sent you an article from Popular Mechanics, right? Because that's another thing. U.S. Navy, they're building and gone ahead and started building a fleet of drone ships.
Yeah.
They're actually doing it now. It says the Navy of the future will have two kinds of drone ships to extend the reach of its manned vessels, making the fleet more capable than ever. A new report lays out this vision. According to Defense News, the U.S. Navy will field medium and large unmanned surface combatants to accompany manned warships at sea. The medium-sized drone ships will be floating sensors capable of sailing ahead of the fleets to detect threats early. The larger drone ships would have offensive capabilities as well. For example, the Navy could mount its Mark 41 vertical launch missile silos on such ships, giving its ability to launch land attack cruise missiles or anti-ship missiles. As a matter of fact, back around 2010 or so, I know that they were talking about making like it looked like a stealth barge, if you will, but it had an ungodly number of vertical launch cells on it. And that's basically what it was. It was just a floating missile platform, and it had like 500 cells on it, which, you know, a Arleigh Burke-class destroyer, which is your latest and greatest. Well, it was the latest and greatest until the Zumwalt class came out. But that one has roughly 100 missiles on it. So this one had like 5 times that. And I mean, the firepower you're talking about, it's just unbelievable. And it meant to be autonomous. It can go anywhere, park itself, do whatever it's got to do, and just unleash a barrage of stuff. And then goodbye. See you later. You know? So that's kind of where they're going with this, are, you know, right now to complement manned forces. But, you know, pretty soon you could be doing away with things like this because of how hard it is to replace personnel, especially in this day and age, and the cost of having to maintain personnel after they're gone out of the service. How many people that serve the military are on disability afterwards? How many people that served in the military retired and are being paid benefits? You start doing this and you can start to deal with some of the budgetary problems that you have with having to pay for manning, because, you know, it's the human resource that's probably the most costly when it comes to fighting, you know, and having an army or a navy. It's that human factor.
And so you got to think about the logistics and everything of feeding everyone on the ship and keeping everyone.
There's a huge cost to it. So you do away with that. I mean, you're talking about a level of magnitude type of cost savings. So, yeah, I mean, you pay a lot up front, I'm sure. But over the life of the ship, it's a drop in the bucket compared to what you pay after, having to man it and everything else. So yeah, they're looking at trying to increase the fleet size here in the United States to 355 ships. So if they want to do that and do it in an inexpensive type of way, then you'd have to utilize that unmanned type of concept, I would have to imagine.
Yeah.
So the Sea Hunter is the one that they have there, 132 feet long, displaces 140 tons. It's a trimaran, and it's capable of going 27 knots while carrying 20,000 pounds of cargo. And, that's kind of where it's at right now, but I'm sure they could scale anything up, to do anything.
Oh, definitely. And the, engineering could be quite, different on it too, because they don't have to worry about like crew compartments or anything like that. So they can utilize that space in like a much more efficient way and all of that. So
yeah, absolutely. I mean, even some of the, they replaced the Perry class frigates in the U.S. Navy with what's called littoral combat ships. And what these ships are, they're modular. So first of all, they're automated to the point where you can have a crew of like 60 to 80, where you used to have 300. So you have partial manning, not totally automated. But depending on its mission, it can go into port and they change out the gun for missiles, and they change out, say, missiles for torpedoes, and they may put an ASW if they know they're going submarine hunting. And they actually tailor the ship's armament and sensor package based on its mission package, which is something that, pretty revolutionary. You'd think, wow, how do you do that? But it's all modular now. So, I mean, that's just some of the revolutionary things that they're doing with that. And then I look at all the billions and trillions of dollars that we spend on warfare, and I'm thinking, man, I wish that we could actually utilize some of this stuff and this technology and this human ingenuity and put it towards solving our own problems.
Yeah.
It's just crazy, man, how much we flush down the toilet. Yeah, it's great. We have a combat platform that's modular. That's wonderful. But, meanwhile, you've got a homeless crisis in San Francisco and Los Angeles that is going to bring back Black Death and leprosy.
I remember when we looked at that the first time, dude, I was shocked. And every time I hear about it now, it just gets worse and worse.
Dude, leprosy. Are you kidding?
I know.
Leprosy? In America? We don't have leprosy. Apparently we do.
You soon will now. So what else have we got before we depart today, gentlemen? What else is kicking about? What do we have? See what I've got up here. Let's see. Done that one.
You have in a grab bag there.
I'm trying to see if there's anything we haven't done yet.
Oh, I've got some. Here's
Let's
one.
what in. What have you got?
Can time travel survive a theory of everything?
Oh, dude. Now we're getting into the good stuff. Link me up, Joe. Link me up, man.
Okay.
I've got it.
Got it. Science news. It's complicated, he says, but studying ways to visit the past could help us understand the cosmos.
Flux capacitor fired up.
So you see it quite often in TV shows and movies. Time travel's much more difficult than driving downtown in any major city, and not much more difficult than driving downtown in any major city during rush hour.
Can I just say, I mean, if this time travel, look at the look it gives this man on his face. A fellow Scotsman of mine. It obviously takes its toll on you. You have to have a bit of the...
At least you playing Doctor Who.
You have to have a bit of the hey about you, don't you? By the looks of it, man. That's a bit of a kind of a comfortable pose he's striking there. I want to see the full shot to see if Doctor Who's got socks on. I hope he hasn't gone and got woke.
Or pants. He may not even have pants on.
He may not have pants on, dude. Who knows?
So in real life, time travel isn't so easy. In fact, it's practically impossible. A fantasy more far-fetched than visiting Alice's Wonderland, finding gold at the end of the rainbow, or cleansing all the hate speech off of Facebook. Wah, wah, wah. Time travel does not necessarily violate the laws of physics. In Einstein's theory of gravity, general relativity, space and time are merged as space-time, which allows for the possibility of pathways that could bend back to the past and loop back to the future. Such paths are known as closed time-like curves. They're a little like great circles around the surface of the Earth. If you start out in one direction and keep going straight, eventually you'll come back to where you started from. In that case, the Earth's curvature guides you back to your previous point in space. With closed time-like curves, the geometry of space-time guides you back to an earlier moment in time. Nobody thinks that general relativity's time loops would be practical for time travel, even if they were possible. For one thing, they might exist only under certain circumstances, and the universe would have to be rotating and not expanding, said mathematician Kurt Gödel, who showed in the 1940s. But the universe is expanding and probably isn't rotating. So that dampens, of course, the prospects for revisiting the Stone Age and acquiring a pet dinosaur. Now, besides, even if the pathway did exist, building a ship to traverse them would cost more than all the DeLoreans and all other transportation vehicles ever made. And it would need a cruising speed of about 140,000 miles per second. And
all of this is just an attempt to put off budding chrononauts out there. Don't buy it, folks. You can do it. You can do it.
And
maybe you've already done it.
For gas, the fuel tank would have to be more than 1 trillion times the size of an oil tanker. Yeah. So for practical purposes, time travel isn't arrived yet. But even if it's possibly only in principle, the potential ramifications for basic physics of the universe might make it worth the time to investigate. Time loops might not enable you to traverse the cosmos in a TARDIS, but perhaps could still help you understand the cosmos more deeply. So it says a first step would be to attempt to figure out exactly what the relevant laws of physics really are. Einstein's general relativity is great, but indubitably not the last words about the physics of the universe. After all, it coexists uneasily with quantum mechanics, which rules the subatomic world, and presumably, since everything is made of subatomic stuff, the rest of the universe as well. Now, whether the quantum general relativity combo truly permits time travel might depend on what the ultimate correct theory combining the two turn out to be. Several candidate theories.
Quantum gravity.
Quantum mechanics unified theory.
And aren't these the problems that we should probably be plugging into the quantum computer?
Yeah. Well, you'd have to have. I would think. Would you have to have general intelligence to be able to ask that question, though?
No.
Because you just plug in the equations. You plug in the equations that don't match up, and then you let the quantum computer figure out how to resolve those two
in 30 seconds.
In 30 seconds. The fact that they were able to look at the spin of the electron recently, that's kind of big, because if they get that and they get quarks and they know how they act, think of everything in the universe, all matter is made up of electrons and quarks. So at that point, they can realistically press go on a simulation that's been coded with the parameters of the laws of physics. And even down to the electron, the way it spins and things, that's how kind of detailed the simulation could get. So from that, you would probably be able to work things out. So I don't know whether you would need the general intelligence. I don't know.
It says, although the fundamental theory would then remain inhospitable to time travel itself, being unified, it would tolerate the possibility of time travel at some other less fundamental scale. Depending on what the relationship between the fundamental theory and emergent space-time may be in each case, we may find that the emergent macroscopic space-time structure permits time travel. Reviewing the major proposals for quantum gravity theories does not provide a lot of hope, though. One approach, known as a causal set theory, requires sets of events to be ordered in a proper cause and effect relationship. So its central idea seems to rule out closed time-like circuits or curves. Another popular approach, known as loop quantum gravity, envisions space to be constructed of fundamental loops, kind of like atoms of space. This view has encountered technical difficulties, one of which is how to work time into the picture with space. Thus, we've seemed to be faced with a temporary, innocuous structure in which no meaningful sense of time travel is permitted. It is possible that the networks of these atoms of space could produce high-level space-time that didn't contain closed time-like curves. But analysis of the details at this stage of loop quantum gravity's development does not offer much reason for optimism. So time travel's future might look a little brighter if the correct approach to quantum gravity turns out to be string theory, currently the most popular contender. In string theory matters basic particles and are tiny vibrating snippets of energy called strings because they extend in one direction. Multiple versions of string theory have been constructed, suggesting that they're different manifestations of a more fundamental master theory known as M theory. And as M theory does not yet exist, it is impossible to determine its verdict on time travel. So there's a whole bunch of stuff that really kind of, I don't know. It's kind of like time travel's on the fence, right? They kind of think it might be able to happen, but then again, physically speaking, they don't see how it happens.
Don't take my chronovisor away, Scott. Don't burst the chronovisor bubble, dude.
No, it made me think of the latest Avengers movie, right? When Tony Stark figured out time travel, right? So he asked his computer and he put in, one of those crazy models, and since he's already messing with quantum and all that stuff, he ran this simulation. It was like, hey, I figured it out. And he was like, oh, I just figured out time travel. So it's gonna be like one of those situations. I think they're gonna plug the right equation in at some point.
Like I say, Scott, somebody's just going to materialize in the room. Somebody will walk out the TARDIS or whatever it is they've built.
They're gonna feed it a problem. They're gonna run it through the quantum computer, and it's gonna spit back an answer that jives, that actually works. And then they're gonna be like, oh, okay, so we didn't have to take 100,000 years of humans trying to calculate this out the old school way. We just popped it into the quantum computer and figured it out. So
can I give a big shout out to Marty out there? Thank you very, very, very much for supporting the stream via PayPal. Cuts out that middleman at Google. Thank you so much. And before we go away today, but every time we talk about time travel, it brings back an episode of the Freeman TV show. We all love Freeman, right? That's like some of the best woo out there on the internet. If you haven't checked out Freeman, please do so. But he interviewed a guy called Dr. David Anderson, and he was from somewhere called the Time Institute. And he just disappeared as quick as he came onto the scene, guys, and he was talking about how he worked on some private, like, science, but there was also governmental contracts as well. So there was things where he could talk about it and he couldn't talk about it. And some of the stuff he did talk about, he talked about the ability to actually, you hear about this thing called frame dragging, okay? Literally time slowing down in a confined space. And he used to talk about this kind of thing. And I found a quick video here, and it looks like it's taken the highlights from Dr. David Anderson. Now, I don't know if this guy's alive anymore. I don't know if he was LARPing it up. The whole kind of Time Institute, it seems like it was a real thing. But let's just take a listen to maybe a couple of minutes of this, and let's hear what he has to say about time, because for me, listening to this dude was one of the most fascinating insights into time and whether or not we can access it.
We have found many ways to measure time, but still, when we ask the simple question, what is time, we cannot answer. This is not a new fascination with the nature of time. As early as the 4th century, St. Augustine said it very well with his famous question and answer, "What then is time? If no one asks me, I know. If I wish to explain it to one that asketh, I know not." This is indeed a very powerful and sharp insight into the psychology of time, and a very, very old and still unanswered question that has been asked for thousands of years. Our struggle to understand and express time dates far back into our history. Civilizations believe art. In the 8th century BC, Homer conceptualized time in his great works. Most ancient civilizations believed that time was cyclic, that it had cycles.
Definitely. Definitely cycles within cycles that we're not even aware of.
Totally.
Especially since everything around them in nature showed a kind of resurrection and repeatability. Like the rising and falling of the ocean tides and rivers, the return of the seasons, and the cycles of the heavens. All of these supported this belief. But the greatest efforts to study and understand and define exactly what time is began with the great philosophers of ancient Greece. Some of the most commonly accepted and studied views of time in philosophy were presented by these philosophers. Plato in the 5th century BC treated time metaphorically as the moving image of eternity. Later, Aristotle in the 4th century BC described time physically as the number or measure of motion. Plotinus in the 3rd...
I would say that's fair enough, eh? The measure of motion, space, time, always moving, it's always motion, it's always in motion.
Century treated time metaphysically as the productive life of the soul. And then, St. Augustine in the 4th century treated time in a very new way, psychologically, as an illusionary product of our mind. St. Augustine's view is still a very popular and provocative subject today.
And folks, this cat here is called Dr. David Anderson. Unfortunately, I don't think he's going to get into the bit about his own kind of experiments into time travel and things. But it's worth listening to. We'll just listen to this last bit here, see what he says about this. So what do you think, guys? Does it exist? Is it just an illusion that we create in our own mind?
I think it exists as part of the simulation.
And our idea of time is very, it's very confined to where we are, because everything's related to like the time it takes the Earth to go round, time it takes us to go round the sun. So, I mean, once you leave our solar system, I mean, how does that even match up with other places? It doesn't.
No, yeah, right.
Do you know what I mean?
It's, yeah. Well, time is local. too. Yeah, I guess it is based on interpretation, but...
You could go to another planet, and the way they've divided time up, Joe, could be something... You'd be thinking, what the hell have you done with this?
Well, we do it based on a day, of the Earth's rotation.
Yeah.
It's one day, and yada, it goes from there, right? But you go to another planet, that could be different. They could measure it differently.
Exactly.
They interpret it differently, but time is still time. I think there's a fundamental part of it that's part of the construct. It's what kind of keeps us...
Everything gets older, so that means there's a progression, right?
Right.
There's an even at some point, right? The
measure things. It's a unit of measurement is all.
Yeah, that's all it is. It's a way of measuring a known, a phenomenon, right? Time is a phenomenon, and
like age, like you said.
Yeah. Yep.
Is there any evidence that...
Oh, look at his hands. He must be a mason.
It is really there? Or is it much like the ether that was once thought to fill the universe? We certainly feel ourselves being pushed and pulled along by the river of time. Therefore, time must exist, right? Perhaps. But consider that time is something that we perceive through our senses, which are not perfect. Is it possible that how we think about time is related to how our brain processes information? One can divide any period of time into a past and a future, from millennia to microseconds. The present is nothing more than a fleeting moment through which the future passes to become the past. If this is true, we are left with quite a perplexing problem. The past and the future do not exist, and the present has no duration. So how can time be measured?
Dude, oh man, you'd be smoking a bowl for this one, peeps. Oh yeah.
St. Augustine suggested that maybe time is measured in the mind. It is not an event itself that is measured, but instead the impression that it leaves on the mind. The mind expects the future, which becomes the present, which the mind attends to, and then becomes the past, which the mind remembers. The future and past do not exist, But in the mind, there is an expectation of the future and a remembrance of the past.
The present doesn't exist, right? Because the minute you say something's in the present, it's not. It's gone. It's in the future. I mean, in the past, right?
I would think.
It's just gone. It's there, and then 1 minute it's the future, and split second later it's the past.
Right.
It's crazy.
The present then would have no duration, yet still the mind's attention is always there. So it is not the future that is lost.
How can your mind have attention on a time that doesn't exist?
Raggy.
Oh, what?
But a long expectation of the future. Likewise, it is not the past that was long, but a long remembrance of the past. So, is time an illusion of the human mind? If it is, then maybe it just might be possible to jump out of the river of time, run up or down along the river's banks, and then re-enter into the past or the future.
I like this dude. And folks, check him out. He's got an hour-long video where he does get into the science and things like that. But that's Dr. David Anderson, and talk about some deep woo to take us out today, boys. Look, Joe's lost. He's gone, doesn't know if it's here, there, tomorrow, yesterday, now, but now's gone. It's never now, right? How can you live in the now when the now's always just moving into the past? But we're going to the future. Damn, dude. Damn, dude. Damn. You know what that needs? That needs some good old retro porno music, I think, Joe.
That's it. Cue the
porno music? No.
Oh, have mercy on us.
So come on, guys. Come on, though. All joking aside. You've got to have liked the new graphics for today. Come on.
Okay, so the new graphics were a little dated, but okay.
Oh, come on. Look at that, dude. Look at it.
Oh, so dated.
Come on, man. That's so, like... Come on. I want to see the chat room. Boogie woogie. Get going with it. I don't know what's better. Is it the disco ball? Or is it this one here? I liking a bit of that as well, Joe.
Yeah, they're all, it's all like Soul Train stuff.
Or we want a bit of this one. The Woo Weekend. Look at it, man. Whoa. Look at that. That's snappy, dude.
That one's a little more...
Spielberg wants me, Scott. He wants me for the next movie, man.
Is that...
Telling you, dude. They're all after me here. Oh, yeah. Uh-huh. Oh, yeah. Come on, folks. You got to have a laugh with the shenanigans, right? There he is. I had you all covered up by the disco, Scott.
That's okay. You know, man.
If you want to join the KBS disco, yes, there is such a thing.
Yes.
All you got to do is email me at boogienights@bigkev.com. No, what you do is Kev Diggler at... No, it's kbsdiscord@protonmail.com. There we go. Look at that. We're into scene 2 now. Yeah, so email me at kbsdiscord@protonmail.com. And you too.
Folks, is that after this show, he will go back. He's going to be watching all his creations and listening to this for about 2 hours.
Boogie woogie. Oh, hell yeah, Joe.
Watch this thing over and over in loop.
By tomorrow, I'm going to have brown chickens and brown cows floating about in there as well, man.
Do you count brown chickens, brown cows when you go to sleep? Look at you. You're like doing the Stevie Wonder. I see that. Okay.
All
right.
Listen,
Scotty Lopez doing the Stevie Wonder.
Listen, dude, I'm quite offended that you think any other kind of farmhouse animal other than electric sheep come into my dreams. Come on, dude. You know I count sheep.
I know. Well, I know it's your preferred animal. I didn't know if you experiment and go outside of the species for other species. I didn't know.
If I've got like interspecial relations.
Is at least you go with things other than wet floor cones.
Oh, exactly, dude. It could be a lot worse, right?
Be a lot worse. You could be humping a cone.
Maybe the cone enjoyed it though. It cone-scented.
Cone's lives matter.
I see. It cone-scented. That's what I'd have said to the police. Get out of here. Leave me to it. Getting jiggy with it. They cracked on these tunes. Would have been good to go.
I mean, look. If anything, the cleanup, the cleanup on aisle 5 sign is already there. So.
See? And the white substance, it was cocaine. It wasn't anything else. Honest, Gov, it wasn't. But folks...
It wasn't.
It wasn't. No, it wasn't. Right, folks, we are out of time. Oh, well, listen to that. The deep state are coming. The deep state are coming. It's the Empire are striking back, Joe. Yeah. Oh, no. Now, we'll be back tomorrow, folks. Big shout out to everyone who dropped the super chats. Big shout out to Marty. Big shout out to all the members. And remember, members, things are going to get really, really cool next week, I hope, because I have a meeting with somebody important on Monday. And I'll be maybe telling you all about that on the afternoon stream on Monday. I don't know. We'll see how it goes. But if you are a member, so appreciate you. If you want to become a member and unlock the shoe so you can chase off the deep state and pesky robots and things like that, click the join button down below. If you're on a mobile, I think if you go to the channel page, there's a join button. I think the cloud, the Streamlabs bot cloud thing, whatever it's called, I think it drops the link to join as well. So please consider that. But we'll be back tomorrow anyway. Right, Joe?
Yeah.
And can we enlist Ange to find us some really scary woo for tomorrow night? Or like some real crime stuff?
I'll see what I can do.
Yeah, we need some... Your mum as well, Scott. We need to get your mum on the woo hunt, man.
Oh, I can definitely have her send me some stuff. So
see, there we go. And on that note, ladies and gentlemen, we're out of here. Some more cool music. Listen, this is like my barnyard greatest hits.
It's like porn.
It's like safari porn. See now, Joe, come on. What kind of music's that, man? That's good, right?
That you know like what? Is that the music you play when you're trying to woo the sheep into the bedroom? You're like, come on.
Who knew that sheep were attracted to techno chickens?
That's the blue chickens. Well done, Joe. Listen to them. That's them screaming. They're screaming, let us away from Wilcock and Sather and all these maniacs. Please, release the blue chickens.
You're gonna have to release a music video having the blue chickens dancing to that.
See, Joe, come on, man. Okay, you win, Joe.